Time and time again, people call us and ask how much their divorce will cost. Usually, what people mean when they say, "How much will my divorce cost?" is how much will my legal fees be? So, today we're going to take some time and address that question. First, let's put the financial aspects of your divorce, including, of course, attorney's fees, into some context. Whenever we make an important decision, especially one like this, there are three things we have to prioritize. So, for example, the first thing is relationships. So, you may think that for you, the most important relationship priority is making sure that you have really high quality time with your kids. Next, it's time. The most important time priority you have might be making sure that your divorce doesn't go on for too long. And then, of course, financials, the money aspect, of which legal fees is our topic today. So, when we're trying to figure out what your top financial goal is for your divorce, and don't worry about this, we'll dig into it at the Goals and Planning Conference. But when you're thinking about it, there are two major aspects to your financials in your divorce. One is cash flow. That's how money's going to flow. That might be alimony, it might be child support, it might be how bills get paid. The second biggest financial thing during divorce is what we call property division. So the way to think about that is things like who's going to get the family house, how are debts going to get divided, how are retirement savings and bank accounts going to get divided. And yes, another financial part of the divorce is how are attorney's fees going to come into play. So how we do things is we have a way to work through what your top money goal is for your divorce. So here are some things to think about. Some people's top priority is making sure that there are two houses for the kids that are relatively the same. For some people, it's making sure that their future is secured with alimony. For some people, it's making sure that they retain a lot of the upside of their extra efforts at work, like usually in the form of a bonus. For other people, it's stability, making sure they have sufficient funds to lead a happy, secure life. For most people, legal fees don't turn out to be their top financial goal in their divorce, but that doesn't mean that they're not important. So now that we know that legal fees are one aspect of the financial piece, and the financial piece is one aspect of the priority between time, relationships, and financials, I want to move on and talk a little bit about the thing we see time and time again that impacts legal fees, that tends to make them relatively high or low. And that is the amount of conflict between the two spouses. Consistently, like nothing else, if you have a high conflict couple, you will have a high fee divorce. That said, all is not lost if you have a high conflict spouse. By maintaining control of your behavior and making decisions in line with your priorities, we can make sure to reduce conflict and try to keep legal fees down, but also make sure that your higher level priorities get accomplished. So a lot of the time that this shows up when we pick up the phone is that someone is asking us what our hourly rate is. Look, we'll tell you our hourly rate, but we do you disservice if that's all we tell you, because the reality is that is one part of the equation for how much your divorce is going to cost. And if you call someone and on the phone with you after a 15-minute conversation, a half an hour conversation, without figuring out your priorities, what matters, what your spouse is like, what your situation is, how many kids you have, if they tell you that they can give you an estimate of how much your divorce is going to cost, you hang up that phone. It isn't true. It isn't possible. The reason we've designed this is so we can figure out what the heck you want. And if we just like phone it in and give you a guess to lure you in, that's not going to set up the kind of relationship that we want to have with our clients. It's not going to set up the kind of relationship, frankly, that our clients deserve. So give us a call. Get the answers that you deserve, that give you a full picture, that are keyed into what really matters to you, and we'll try and help you get through to the other side.